Welcome to another Cult of Odd Tell Me a Story. This time Odd sits down with indie filmmaker Bron Theron, who has a movie called Half Dead Fred premiering August 7th in Flint, Michigan. The movie stars Corin Nemec as Fred, a detective who after a near-death experience can communicate with the dead. In the full interview, Bron talks about the movie, his career as not only a director, but an actor, a producer and a writer. When it comes to indie filmmaking, you have to be a jack of all trades. Make sure you check out the full interview here on YouTube and stay for the trailer for Half Dead Fred at the end.
All right, Bron, tell me a story.
Story time. All right. So, as you know, I moved down here I'm from California originally, but I moved away to the Northwest and then I moved back down here in about 2001 or 2002 to Hollywood, tried to do some acting, right? Just like a lot of people. And I did get an agent relatively quickly. My agent was a little weird, a little strange. And he would book me on these jobs for extra work in pornos. So I have done not a ton, but I think I've done about 10, close to 10 around there of just extra work in pornos. Now, what does an extra do in a porno, you ask? Well, sometimes they have a storyline and sometimes they have actors play little parts and then all of a sudden it leads into the sexual stuff. Well, this story starts on a porn set back in 2002, I believe, 2002 or 2003. And I was an extra. And I went to this porn set and there were some very strange characters on this porno set. That's not the story, though. I'm not going to get into names, but because people might go, I know that dude. He's good. But what the story goes like this. I was in a football outfit, right? It was supposed to be like football people and cheerleaders. And I was manning a grill at a barbecue, okay? And so I was cooking on this grill. And to get this shot, they had some dialogue over there. They even gave me some dialogue. I think I said like, burgers are ready, something like that. I've never seen this porno, by the way. I've never seen this one from this story. I've seen others. This one, never seen. So anyway, I was cooking burgers, and to get the shot, they had to have this flame, on fire because they wanted it to look like flame. So they kept on spraying lighter fluid all over the barbecue grill. But that means that they were putting it on the burgers too. They're supposed to be just prop burgers, but they were getting quite soiled in lighter fluid. So we're done with the scene, whatever. They do this, they shoot that, whatever they shoot. Then afterwards, these guys some people there decide to eat the burgers. So some of these people eat the burgers, right? And I didn't eat the burgers because I knew that they're like, in fact, I've told them multiple times, you shouldn't eat these burgers, but they didn't listen. They were doing a lot of extracurricular activities. I don't want to throw shade at the porn industry because it has such a high reputation, but they were doing, cocaine and weed and just different shit,
Drugs.
Yeah, they're doing drugs. And I believe my agent was doing drugs. So the story goes like this. We're almost done with the shoot. And then I can't find my agent. And now I drove there with him. He drove me there in his Corvette. He had this like 1995 Corvette at the time. It was very much like Smokey and the Bandit. Anyway, so we drove there in his car. I didn't have a car at the time, and I couldn't find this guy. He like disappeared, And I known he had been doing drugs, and I know he'd be taking this burger that's got this lighter fluid on. So I went to the bathroom, and sure enough, he was locked in the bathroom, and I could hear him throwing up. So he was just having a bad time in the bathroom, And he got super duper sick. And he was like, I just can't drive. And I don't know why I didn't just drive. Maybe I had been drinking. I don't know. But anyway, the second part of the story goes like this. I didn't know too many people in Hollywood, but I was online. This was back in like you get in chat rooms and talk to people, like MTV chat rooms and stuff like that. And I'd met this girl and I kind of knew her, but she lived in Santa Monica. We were in Venice and she was like the only person I knew. So I called her. She came and got us, took this guy all the way to the valley because that's where he lived. And then I live in Long Beach, and she didn't want to drive to Long Beach. So she basically, in a weird way, made me stay at her house that night. And she kind of wanted a little bit more than just friendship.
Ask the grass, buddy. Nobody rides for free.
Yeah, she kind of, I think she was expecting some things. I ended up sleeping on the couch. I didn't do anything. I didn't whore myself out, but I had to kind of break it down to her. I'm like, well, it's just not that type of party. I'm not really into that. I appreciate you, but I just can't. I'm not a hooker. You know what I mean? Like that'd be a cheap ride. But anyway, I had been drinking. I remember I'd been drinking, and then the next morning I felt like shit, and I left, and I haven't talked to her since. So sorry to that lady, but I do appreciate the ride. And then shortly after that, I had a falling out with the agent too, and I don't have that same agent anymore. But it's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
But that's one of the Hollywood stories that I went through real young. I've never done any drugs. Like I've smoked weed like when I was a kid, but I don't do drugs. So that whole drug world is like, I just don't pay attention to it. You know what I mean? I have no sympathy for it, and I don't want to get involved with it. So I normally don't hang around with people that do drugs.
Tell me though, you weren't laughing just a little bit at the idiots eating the burgers and then violently getting ill afterwards.
You know, a little bit, but I honestly, man, I told them, I was like, you guys don't want to eat that, but they weren't trying to listen to me. So I was like, all right. I mean, you can only lead a horse to water. You can't make the water get in the horse. You know, you can't make the horse drink. It was a weird night. I'll tell you that. Other things happened that night. That's the short version of the story. I actually wrote it out. Maybe one day I'll shoot it. I don't know. We almost stole this dog from one of the porn stars because he was an asshole.
Wow.
There's a lot of other things going on in that story, but that's the main part.
All right.
That's my porno story.
It sounds at least entertaining, and it sounds like the agent got his, and unfortunately your ride for the night didn't get hers.
No, she didn't. She was nice though. I mean, anybody that could go out of their way and give people rides in LA. LA is kind of like one of those places you have to have a car.
I've spoken to several, and I've got friends that live out there as well. And yeah, they say it's a nightmare to get around anywhere, even if you do have a car. And if you don't, you just don't go there.
Yeah, it's a thing. I mean, that was a long time ago too. There wasn't Ubers back then, and there wasn't a few things back then that could be convenient now. You know what I mean? Yeah.